Hi there, it's Steph. Thanks for popping by. So today I wanted to share with you another card I made using the Hobbycraft butterfly. I don't know if it has an actual name, but I call it butterfly because I couldn't work that out. I basically used a piece of watercolor cardstock, a Strathmore Bristol watercolor cardstock, and I used my embossing buddy bag to remove the static. I stamped my butterfly with some Versamark ink, and I used some gold embossing powder. I then used my heater gun to melt the embossing powder, and I placed a frame in the middle of my card, and I traced a line so I could cut it off. I stamped my gritting in the middle of that frame, and then I used my trimmer to cut off the edges of that frame, apart from the butterfly, because I want the butterfly to remain in the frame. So then I used a craft knife to manually cut off the butterfly. It's sped up obviously, but I tried not to go too quick because I wanted the edges to be really smooth and really pretty. I did leave a little bit of a little bit of an edge really beyond the butterfly because I wanted it to pop, and I think it worked out quite well, so I like that. I stamped my distress ink onto my handmade watercolor palette, and then I start coloring, and I basically drop the color all around the frame. It's not blended, it's not mixed together, it's on purpose, it's just so that the color remains quite vibrant, and then I start layering on the top of it. So I did one layer which I dried with the heat gun, and then a second layer that I tried again. So then I will color the butterfly. For the color, I believe I used some mustard seeds, picked raspberry, and barn door. And I was going for something really girly, and I think these colors work really well with gold. It's kind of I want to say an oriental feel to it. Then I colored the middle. I wanted the background to be quite a lot lighter actually than the front, and that was on purpose, so that the front really pops, because I'm creating some sort of frame on top of my card, so I wanted something that was really vibrant and really colorful. Then I colored my butterfly in picked raspberry. I added a few layers, and I just used the heat gun to dry between the layers, just to add a bit of depth and a bit of shading in places on the back of the wings and things like that. It doesn't take very long, it's just, you do have to build up on the layers, because otherwise you can't get that effect of that intensity. I mean, distressing tend to be quite light as well when you ink them from the ink pad. It's a bit more intense if you use an reinker, but I do not have these colors as reinkers. Once I was done with that and it was all dry, I cut off my frame edges so that it was all neat. And I just moved the edges with a pair of scissors just to make sure it looks really good. I placed the frame onto the card front, and I'm gonna draw the frame so I know where to place the inside of my frame basically. I did trim the edges of the inside as well, so there would be a bit, it's not all spot on. If I was to redo it again, I probably would do the watercolor and then cut off the inside of the frame. So if you do decide to attempt something like that, that's my suggestion. It makes the edges a bit neater and you don't have to cut off the side. I think it may just look a bit better. So that's my tip for the day. Once I was done, I placed some double-sided foam tape, sorry, on the back of the frame, and I just glued it onto my card front. I used the Spectrum glittery pen that was offered to me by an Instagram lady. Thank you for that one. And I placed glitter everywhere basically. And then I added a little bit of glossy accent on the butterfly because I can't help it. And I think it looked really nice. So once I was all dry, I also added a few droplets of glossy accents on the inside of the card. I just think it looks nice. It's very subtle, but I think it looks pretty. So here we go. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you like it, and have a great day. Bye.